Do you really think buying that $3,000 bag makes you rich? Here's the ugly truth. Designer brands are designed to keep you spending and them getting richer. There's an ugly truth about designer brands that nobody talks about, and once you'll realize this, you will stop buying them. Hey, aliens, it's me. And today I want to talk about something that we all know but refuse to admit. The designer industry is preying on us. They are taking advantage of our desire to climb the social ladder, and they're making millions off of it. When you buy a designer item, you're not really buying into their quality, because that's not what separates them from a mid-tier brand. What separates these brands is their ability to sell status, the illusion of a higher social class. But guess what? It's all an illusion. The real winners aren't you or even the people who make the clothes. It's the company who's selling the fantasy. So let's break down why you should stop buying designer. I think there's a lot of us who have fallen victim to this. We see a bag or shoes or whatever that we like and we assume that it's going to change our life in some way. But in reality, it's just a piece of clothing made in the same factory as a bunch of other stuff, but with better marketing. You've probably heard the saying, you get what you pay for. And sometimes this is true when it comes to quality, but not always. When you buy a designer bag, it's 100% true that you're paying for the logo. And I'm guilty of this too. I spent $2,500 on a bag because it was Tory Burch and it had the double T's. But honestly, the material wasn't any different than my Vera Bradley bag. I could have gotten the exact same quality for a fraction of the price, but I paid $2,500 for the logo. And this is what we need to stop doing. Ask yourself this: do I want this bag because I like the style, or because I want people to know that I have money? If you're being honest, the answer is no. You don't actually care about the bag. You just want what the bag represents. And here's the thing. When you buy into the status, you're also supporting the lifestyle. Remember when Kim Kardashian broke the internet? Well, I remember when she did, because I was in college and we were all sitting in our dorm room, talking about how her butt was bigger than the planet Jupiter. We all laughed and talked about how ridiculous it was that someone would go through the effort to take a picture like that. But at the end of the day, we all knew it was smart marketing. This woman was making millions off of a picture that she took herself and sent to a magazine. That picture went viral before the term viral was even invented, and we couldn't help but be curious. We wanted to see it for ourselves. That's free advertising for the magazine and for Kim. She didn't pay to be on the cover. In fact, she probably got paid to be on the cover. And this is what happens in every industry. If you look at the top influencers right now, they're all in the luxury space. How do you think they got famous? By being relatable and authentic, not by being rich. That's why we like them. We want to be just like them. But here's the thing. You can never be just like them because they're not even real. They're the most curated version of themselves that they could possibly put out there without completely humiliating themselves. These people don't post about their mistakes or their struggles or their failures, because it wouldn't be very attractive if they did. So we follow these fake versions of people and we fall in love with their fake lives. Then we try to copy them so we can be just like them. But at the end of the day, you'll never be able to afford their lifestyle because it's fake. Here's another example. My friend, Logan Paul, was recently in Japan, and he stopped by a hot springs resort in the mountains. He posted a picture of himself, and guess what happened? Thousands of people flooded the comments asking him where he stayed. They wanted to go to the same place. Guess what happened next? Every single hot springs resort in that town sold out. These places were fully booked within hours of his post, and I say this with love. But Logan Paul is a walking disaster. He's loud and obnoxious. He doesn't fit in anywhere. But people wanted to go to the same place he went. Why? Because they wanted to feel like Logan Paul. They wanted to experience what he experienced. They thought it would make them more interesting. And here's the kicker. There were several resorts in that town that didn't even charge extra for foreigners, which is usually the case, but they were still fully booked. People literally traveled 3 hours each way just to stay at this hot springs resort. They booked months in advance to go to the exact same place. I think this is a great example of the status that's associated with certain places. And if you can use that status to your advantage, then you can make millions. This is what a lot of influencer marketing is based on. They're using the attention that they gained from one thing to make money in a completely different industry. But this isn't a bad thing. If anything, It's brilliant. And if you understand it, you can use it to your advantage. For example, everyone knows that Elon Musk is a genius billionaire who's pushing the world forward. Tesla might not be the best car out there, but they're definitely one of the most popular cars. Because of the status that they represent, do you want a Tesla Model S or a Lucid Air? The Lucid Air is technically better, but the Tesla Model S has more status. You'd rather drive a car that people know is cool than one that you know is better. And this is the ugly truth about designer brands. You're paying for the status. You're essentially buying into a lifestyle that you've seen other people live. You want to feel like them, and you think that you can do that by wearing the same clothes, driving the same car, and staying at the same hotel. But here's the thing, you can't. You'll never be able to keep up with the Joneses, because they're not real. Their life isn't real. Their success isn't real. Their happiness isn't real. All they know how to do is market. They've perfected the art of getting you to buy into their lifestyle. Now, this doesn't mean that everything is bad. Like I said before, I've bought a lot of designer stuff, but we shouldn't lie to ourselves. We shouldn't pretend that we're buying into the quality. We have to be brutally honest with ourselves and ask, is this worth it? You know, I'll never forget when Rana showed up to an event with her baby bump showing. Everyone lost their mind because she was the first person in recent history to show up to an event pregnant. People were shocked. We weren't sure if she'd actually show up because we'd never seen anyone do that before. But she rocked the red carpet. She looked beautiful, and afterward, everyone started following suit. Suddenly, celebrities were showing up to events pregnant, half naked, and no one cared. It was normal, and it all started with Rihanna being brave enough to do it first. That takes courage. And if you can find something that you're passionate about and pursue it with everything you have, you will end up on the cover of your own magazine one day. And if you're lucky, you might even break the internet. But this takes passion, and it also takes time. It's easy to throw money at a problem and buy into the lifestyle. But what's hard is pursuing something and truly trying to succeed. You know, if I saw a girl wearing sky-high heels to work every day, I'd ask her, is it worth it? And if she said yes, then I'd believe her. But if she said no, I'd tell her to stop, because it's not worth sacrificing her feet just to look good. We have to decide what's important to us. Is living the lifestyle worth taking on debt? Is it worth compromising your morals? And if you're unhappy with your life, is it really going to change things? You know, buying that $2,500 bag made me happy for about 3 minutes until I realized that I could have invested that $2,500 and turned it into $15,000. And that's the ugly truth about designer brands. The moment you walk out that door with your new purchase, it loses 100% of its value. At that point, you're the only person keeping up with the Joneses. And if you can wake up and realize that, then you can save a lot of money. Now, I'm not against designer stuff. I'm not against buying nice things. I'm all for buying what makes you happy. But we have to be honest with ourselves and ask, does this make me happy? Or does it make my life better in any way? And if not, then maybe it's not worth it. Now, I have a question for you. Which is more valuable, a $1,500 bag or $1,500? Comment down below. Let me know. And if you haven't already, I challenge you to choose the wealthy path. Follow for more videos just like this one. And I'll see you in the next video.